YouTube is about to change what a view means. Starting August 24, 2026, YouTube is reportedly changing its view counting system so that a view can be counted from the moment a video begins playing. And if you're a creator, there's one part of this change you need to understand. Your view count could go up without your actual audience becoming more engaged. That sounds contradictory, so let me explain exactly what's changing, what isn't changing, and why I think creators need to pay attention to a different number. Because at first glance, this looks like great news. More views, bigger numbers, better looking analytics. But there's a catch, and it has nothing to do with whether people actually watched your video. Let's start with what YouTube currently tells us about its metrics. YouTube says views represent legitimate views. It also says that its systems continually verify engagement and can adjust counts to remove low-quality playbacks. So a view has never simply meant someone looked at the screen. YouTube has systems behind the scenes that determine whether an interaction should count. And that's important because the new change isn't simply YouTube is removing all the rules. It's changing what the public view metric is designed to represent. The big change is that views will move toward an exposure-based definition. In other words, the video starts playing and the view can begin counting from that first frame. That is very different from asking, did this person actually watch the video? And this is where the terminology becomes important, because YouTube already has another metric called engaged views. YouTube currently defines engaged views for shorts as the number of times viewers stay to watch past the initial seconds. For regular videos and live streams, YouTube currently says engaged views are the same as views. That distinction is important because the whole point of this upcoming change is to separate the broad exposure number from the deeper engagement signal. So imagine someone opens your video. The first frame appears. They immediately realize, not interested, and they leave. Under the new approach, that interaction could still contribute to the view count. But did that person become an actual viewer? Not really. They saw the video, they didn't meaningfully consume it. And that's why I think creators need to be careful about celebrating a sudden increase in views after this change. Because a bigger number doesn't automatically mean better content, and it definitely doesn't automatically mean more watch time. Let's use a simple example. Imagine your video currently gets 1,000 views, and let's say those viewers generate 100 hours of watch time. Now imagine YouTube changes the way views are counted, and suddenly that same video reports 1,500 views. That sounds fantastic, but if those additional 500 people only saw the opening moment and immediately left, you didn't suddenly create 50% more audience value. You created 50% more recorded exposure. That's the distinction. And this is where creators can easily fool themselves, because views are psychologically powerful. You see 1,000 views, then 1,500 views. Your brain says, my video is performing better. But what if watch time barely moved? What if average view duration didn't improve? What if audience retention stayed exactly the same? Then the bigger view number isn't telling you that people suddenly love your content. It's telling you that more video starts are being counted. That's why I would not panic, and I wouldn't celebrate too early either. Instead, I'd watch the deeper metrics: watch time, average view duration, average percentage viewed, audience retention, engaged views, and stayed to watch behavior, because those numbers tell you much more about what happened after the video appeared. And there's another reason this matters. Advertisers. A larger view count can make YouTube's video ecosystem easier to compare with platforms that already use broader view definitions. But creators should not automatically assume more views means more money. That's not what follows from this change. YouTube's public view metric and monetization are not the same thing. A view count changing doesn't mean YouTube suddenly owes you more advertising revenue for every additional view. Revenue depends on things like monetized playbacks, advertising demand, viewer geography, ad formats, and other factors. So if your view count jumps, but the amount of meaningful viewing doesn't, don't assume your earnings will jump by the same percentage. And this is where I think the phrase vanity metric starts becoming relevant. Not because views are useless. They're not. Views still tell you that people encountered your content. But views become less useful if you treat them as a direct measurement of attention, and attention is what creators actually need. If someone watches your video for 2 seconds, then leaves, you technically got exposure, but you didn't build a relationship with that viewer. You didn't generate meaningful watch time. You didn't necessarily earn a subscriber, and you certainly didn't prove that the content was good. So the question I would ask after this change isn't how many views did I get, it's what happened after the video started. That's a much better question. And honestly, this could actually make YouTube analytics more useful because we're getting closer to having different numbers answer different questions. Views can tell you about exposure. CTR can tell you how often people watched after seeing an eligible impression. Average view duration tells you how much time viewers watched on average. Average percentage viewed tells you how much of the video they watched. Retention shows you where people stayed and where they left. And engaged view style metrics can tell you whether people got past that initial moment. YouTube itself already describes these metrics as measuring different aspects of viewer behavior. So instead of looking at one giant number, you can start looking at the entire journey. Someone sees the video starts. They either stay or leave. If they stay, they may continue watching. If they continue watching, they may finish. They may watch another video. They may subscribe. They may come back tomorrow. That is the actual audience building process. The view counter only captures one part of it. And here's where this gets particularly interesting for a small channel like mine. My problem isn't that I need a prettier view number. My problem is that I need people to actually watch. I need impressions. I need clicks. I need retention. I need watch time. And eventually, I need viewers who come back. So if this change gives me more views without giving me more meaningful viewing, it doesn't solve my problem. It just changes the number I'm looking at. And that's why I'm not going to use this update as an excuse to say, great, now getting views is easier. Because that's not necessarily what happened. The measurement changed. The audience didn't magically change. And there's another important question. Could this affect how creators compare their old videos with new videos? Potentially yes, if the definition of a view changes, then comparing raw view counts across the boundary becomes less straightforward. A video that got 1,000 views under the old methodology may not represent exactly the same amount of exposure as a video that gets 1,000 views under the new methodology. So when you're looking at your analytics after the change, don't immediately conclude that your content suddenly became 30% better or 30% worse just because the view number moved. Look at the broader metrics. Look at watch time. Look at retention. Look at average view duration. Look at subscribers generated. Look at returning viewers. Those are much harder to fake with a change in counting methodology. And there's one more thing I want to emphasize. This doesn't mean your existing videos are suddenly changing. You don't need to re-edit your entire library. You don't need to change every thumbnail. You don't need to suddenly make shorter videos. And you shouldn't start designing your content around getting someone to trigger a view and immediately leave. That would be completely backwards. The objective should still be the same. Get the right person to start watching, then give them a reason to keep watching. Because the first frame can get you the number, but the rest of the video has to earn the attention. And that distinction is going to become even more important. Imagine two creators. Creator A gets 100,000 views, but most viewers leave almost immediately. Creator B gets 60,000 views, but those viewers watch significantly longer. Which creator has the stronger audience? The answer isn't automatically Creator A. The raw view number doesn't tell you enough. You need context. And this is something I've personally been learning the hard way on this channel. I've spent a lot of time looking at views. But when you actually dig into YouTube Studio, you start seeing that views are only one piece of the puzzle. A video can have relatively few views but strong retention. Another can get more impressions but terrible CTR. Another can get clicks but lose people in the opening seconds. Every metric tells you something different, and this upcoming change makes that distinction even more important. So when August 24 arrives, I'm going to be watching my analytics differently. I'm going to compare the view count with the actual viewing behavior. If views increase, I'll want to know whether watch time increased too. If views increase, I'll want to know whether average view duration changed. If views increase, I'll want to know whether subscribers increased, because those numbers will tell me whether the additional views represent meaningful audience growth or simply a broader way of counting video starts. And honestly, I'm curious about the people who don't watch. Right now, the traditional view number doesn't give us a particularly clean way to think about everyone who encountered a video but didn't meaningfully continue. If YouTube gives creators more visibility into that behavior, that's useful, because knowing why someone leaves can be just as valuable as knowing why someone stays. Did the opening fail? Was the topic wrong? Was the title misleading? Did the video take too long to get to the point? Was the viewer simply not interested? Those are the questions that can actually improve your next video. And that's what I care about. Not making the analytics dashboard look better, making the next upload better. So here's my takeaway. Don't chase the new view number. Chase the viewer. If your views go up after this change, look deeper. Did watch time increase? Did retention improve? Did people watch longer? Did subscribers increase? Did returning viewers increase? If the answer is yes, that's meaningful. If the answer is no, then congratulations. Your number got bigger, but your audience didn't. And I think that's the most important thing creators need to understand about this change. A view is a measurement. It isn't a person. A view isn't attention. A view isn't loyalty. A view isn't watch time. And a view definitely isn't proof that someone loved your video. The real goal is still the same. Get someone to stop, give them a reason to stay, give them a reason to finish, and give them a reason to come back. So when YouTube changes the way views are counted, I'm not going to ask, how many views did I get? I'm going to ask, how many people actually watched? Because that's the number that matters.